6:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The evening news edited by Dulmin Samrasinghe, read by Soundithavam. The President says Sri Lanka understands the importance of balancing human needs with the environment. The Prime Minister instructs officials to offer justice of peace posts when appointing registrars. The Justice Minister says the government does not influence the judiciary. Fertilizer will be issued to all agrarian services centres. A considerable reduction in organised crimes recorded. In foreign news, ASEAN calls on Myanmar to accept special envoy. And in sports, Australian Open 2022, unvaccinated players face fresh doubts. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says Sri Lanka is a nation with a rich philosophical heritage shaped by the teachings of Lord Buddha fully understands the importance of balancing ecological concerns with human needs. He made these observations during the high-level thematic debate on delivering climate action for people, planet and prosperity, convened by the President of the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Abdullah Shahid, today. The high-level thematic debate commenced under the patronage of the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres at the UN headquarters in New York, and the heads of states of the UN member countries and representatives joined the conference via video technology. President Rajapaksa stressed the need to address climate change urgently and decisively. The President pointed out that as a developing tropical island nation, Sri Lanka is one of the most climate-vulnerable countries in the world. He said internationally Sri Lanka is proud to be a co-lead of the Energy Compact for no new coal power. He said Sri Lanka also leads the Action Group on Mangrove Ecosystems and Livelihoods under the Commonwealth Blue Charter initiative. Additionally, the Colombo Declaration on Sustainable Nitrogen Management seeks to have nitrogen waste by 2030. The President said the country is taking to the limit the overuse of artificial fertilizers, thereby addressing health concerns as well as helping reduce nitrogen waste. President Rajapaksa said the country's nationally determined contributions targets achieving carbon neutrality by 2050. President Rajapaksa went on to call on developed nations to fulfill their commitment to help the planet heal. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed the Secretary to the Ministry of Public Administration to offer justice of peace posts when appointing them as registrars. The Prime Minister has instructed Mr. Ratnasiri to discuss the matter with the Justice Ministry. The Prime Minister mentioned this during a discussion with the members of the Association of Birth, Deaths and Marriage Registrars. Justice Minister Ali Sabri says the government will not influence the independence of the judiciary. He said the government has taken steps to strengthen the judiciary to provide speedy solutions to people's problems. The minister said this while attending the opening ceremony of the new coach complex in Kahatagasdilya. Minister Mahindananda Alutkamage says that fertilizer will be issued to all agrarian services centres by the 10th of next month. During a media briefing today at the Ministry of Agriculture, he said that nano-nitrogen fertilizer was imported from India since it could not be imported from China. He said that the government cannot import fertilizer as it wishes. He said there is a set of regulations and the fertilizer has been imported according to those regulations. The police headquarters says that there is a considerable reduction in organised crimes. During the last 2 years, organised crimes have reduced by 80%. The police headquarters said the COVID pandemic and operations against organised crimes have contributed to the reduction. The police media spokesman SP Nihal Taldua said that special programs have been implemented to prevent drugs being smuggled into the country. The head of the Defence Staff and the Army Commander, General Shavendra Silva, who is on an official tour in Russia, has met Russian Ground Operations Head, General Oleg Salukov. They have held discussions on enhancing military cooperation, mechanical, technological and other needs. The Army Commander expressed his gratitude to the Russian military head for the cooperation given during the humanitarian operations. Attention has been focused on training programs, joint military exercises, exchanging mechanical, engineering and technical knowledge. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Sri Lanka Navy formally took the delivery of the ex-United States Coast Guard cutter USCGC Douglas Munro, provided by the United States in a ceremony held at the U.S. Coast Guard Base Seattle of Washington in the United States yesterday. On behalf of the Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Nishanthe Ulugetana, the event was attended by the Chief of Staff of the Navy, Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayaratne. As such, the ship formally joined the Sri Lanka Navy fleet from yesterday under the number P627, and the main mast of the ship will fly the national flag effective from that date. The world spends an astounding $423 billion annually to subsidize fossil fuels for consumers, oil and electricity that is generated by the burning of other fossil fuels, gas and coal. According to the new UN Development Programme research released today, this is 4 times the amount being called for to help poor countries tackle the climate change crisis, one of the sticking points ahead of the COP26 Global Climate Conference next week. The amount spent directly on these subsidies could pay for COVID-19 vaccinations for every person in the world, or pay for 3 times the annual amount needed to eradicate global extreme poverty. Another step of the Oppua Gedaratama program will be implemented in the Trincomalee and Batticaloa districts tomorrow. It has been organised by the Land Reforms Commission. The program has been organised together with the Land Ministry to provide a land deed soon to the people, according to the Vistas of Prosperity national policy. All that came to you in local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Ministry of Health says 373 more COVID-19 patients were discharged from medical care today. This brings the number of recoveries reported in the country to 504,376. Sri Lanka has recorded 537,761 COVID-19 cases so far. 19,731 patients are currently receiving medical treatment. Meanwhile, the deaths from the coronavirus now stands at 13,654. That came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Light.
The water supply will be interrupted from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow due to urgent maintenance work in Aluthgama, Mathugama and Agalavatta Integrated Water Supply Scheme. Accordingly, water supply will be interrupted in Vadua, Vaskaduwa, Potupitiya, Kalutara North and South, Katukurunda, Nagoda, Bentota, Payagala, Bombuwala, Magona, Beruwala, Darga Town, Aluthgama, Pilaminavatta, Kaluvamodara and Moragalla for 10 hours and came to you in Watchlight.
World News.
Making headlines, ASEAN calls on Myanmar to accept special envoy. Brazil senators back criminal charges against Bolsonaro over COVID handling. And Hong Kong passes a new film censorship law. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations has called on Myanmar to accept the group's special envoy to mediate dialogue between the military and the pro-democracy force. ASEAN held a summit online yesterday under the chairmanship of Brunei and issued a chairman's statement. The statement expresses concern over the situation in Myanmar, where violence is continuing and deaths are rising. Brazilian senators have voted to recommend charging President Jair Bolsonaro over his handling of the devastating COVID pandemic. A Senate panel backed by a report calling for charges against Mr. Bolsonaro, including crimes against humanity after 600,000 deaths from the coronavirus. The president has maintained he is guilty of absolutely nothing, but the crisis has dented his popularity. Hong Kong's legislature has passed a new law banning films deemed to violate China's national security interests, the latest blow to freedom of expression in its territory. Punishment for violating the law includes up to 3 years imprisonment and $130,000 in fines. Critics say the legislation will stifle the vibrant local film industry. Back to the headlines of the world news. ASEAN calls on Myanmar to accept special envoy. Brazil senators back criminal charges against Bolsonaro over COVID handling. And Hong Kong passes new film censorship law. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
And now in development news.
Colombo Commercial Fertilizers Limited entered into a memorandum of understanding with Polish venture capital firm Regina Popere Fundas yesterday to establish preliminary parameters to form a joint venture for an organic fertilizer manufacturing operation in Sri Lanka. This agreement sets in motion key strategic action in the agriculture development policy of the country's national policy framework, Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor. That came to you in development news.
Sports news.
Doubts have again been raised regarding unvaccinated tennis players and whether they will be able to take part in the Australian Open after contradictory statements from key politicians. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said today those without jabs would be able to enter Australia to play. He added that entry would depend on the state of Victoria, which includes Melbourne, applying for exemptions. 10 former rugby league players, including ex-Great Britain scrum half Bobby Golding, are claiming the sport has left them with brain damage. Lawyers say the players are all suffering from neurological complications, and they are now planning a legal claim against Rugby Football League for negligence. That came to you in sports news. We'll look at business news next.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sarvodaya Development Finance recently announced its initial public offering proposition and will be allowing potential investors the ability to submit applications for the IPO, which will open on the 23rd of November. Managed by NDB Investment Bank, Sarvodaya Development Finance will offer up to 45,454,546 ordinary voting shares at a price of 22 rupees per share through its IPO. That's business news, economic news to follow.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Plantations Industries Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana said that the export income generated from plantation crops will exceed $5 billion next year. Minister Patirana said that the government is aiming at promoting coconut cultivation and coconut-related industries for domestic and international demand. He said that the country will generate more income by exporting coconut and coconut-related products to other countries and came to you in economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
The Met Department says the low-level atmospheric disturbance in the southwest Bay of Bengal has intensified into a low-pressure area. Therefore, showery conditions are expected to enhance over most parts of the island, particularly from tomorrow to Saturday. Showers or thundershowers will occur in most parts of the island, particularly during the afternoon or night tomorrow. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places. Showers may occur in the northern, eastern and southern provinces during the morning.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President says Sri Lanka understands the importance of balancing human needs with the environment. The Prime Minister instructs officials to offer justice of peace posts when appointing registrars. The Justice Minister says the government does not influence the judiciary. Fertilizer will be issued to all agrarian service centres. A considerable reduction in organised crimes recorded. ASEAN calls on Myanmar to accept special envoy. An Australian Open 2022, unvaccinated players face fresh doubts. That concludes this evening's news broadcast.